So what does that leave us with? This is one hell of a statement. So 1 in 3 men who go to the gym in the UK are using steroids. Okay guys, something a little bit more fitness related for this one. I saw something the other day. I've got everything written down here. It's quite difficult numbers to remember. I saw something the other day which said that 1 million UK citizens are taking steroids, which blew my mind because I believe there's 66 million people in the UK, maybe 67 million. And at first thought 1 in 66 doesn't sound like a lot. 1 in 66 people are taking steroids in the UK. Fair enough. Now, I know I'm talking about the UK, but this is going to relate. The statistics are probably pretty accurate in Australia, the US, Canada. I imagine they're quite universal. They're going to go straight across the board and be quite similar. They might be higher in Eastern European countries. I know a lot of guys out there are very keen on taking steroids. There's not as much stigma with it. Because being a big, strong alpha male in Eastern Europe is celebrated, as it is here and in other regions, but more so out in Eastern Europe. But I think it's 67 million. So 1 million UK citizens on steroids. That's 1 in 67 people are taking steroids in the UK. Okay, not that alarming to begin with. But let's break this down. This is quite scary. So you've got to assume that most people with disabilities or who are over the age of 60 probably aren't going to the gym, right? Somebody's going to pipe up and say, that's not fair. Disabled people can go to the gym. Of course they can. But I'm just saying the majority compared to able-bodied people probably would choose to do something else. It's only recently that disabled access has been put into a lot of gyms, and it's very hard with the facilities. Now, we've all seen people on Instagram doing pull-ups in a wheelchair, which blows my mind. It's incredible. But you'd probably say the majority of people with disabilities wouldn't be training. I think they should. I think it'd be fantastic. I think everybody should train. But I think it's fair to say that probably not. I can't remember the last time I saw anybody in one of my gyms with a disability, so I'm just going based off personal experience. Now, all the old people over the age of 60 years old, again, I think they should be in the gym, they should be active, but they do other things. They do a lot of cardio-based things, but I doubt that they're in the gym, and I highly doubt that they're chasing down steroids. So I think we can rule them out, which takes us down to, this is UK, from 1 in 66 to probably 1 in 45 people currently using steroids in the UK, okay? So let's get very young. Let's take out all of the kids. So I know there's probably a few guys out there, 17, 18 years old, who probably want to take steroids, maybe a few 16-year-olds. But the majority of people under the age of 16 in the UK excuse me, aren't taking steroids. I think that's probably fair to say. We could probably rule them out as as a group that we don't want to include in this. So this brings us down to 1 in 30. So now 1 in 30 people in the UK are using steroids. Now, women have started taking steroids. They've started taking them to cut your Winstrol's, your Anavar, those sort of steroids. They're using them to cut up and get some crazy abs and burn the body fat whilst building big glutes, etc. And have what is considered now as the perfect female body. So women are starting to use them. You'd be very surprised how many. But I think on the whole, we're still in the early stages of that. I think it's fair to say if we cut off 50% of this population, so women, we can take that down to 1 in 15. I just don't think it's fair to include women in this, because I think a lot less women are taking steroids than men, or at least even considering it in the first place. So that what I'm trying to get at is that 1 million people in the UK are using them number. I think there's a very selective pool of people who are using it, and that figure has been dressed up to look better than what it is, 1 in 67. Just based on people who don't go to the gym, who would never use steroids anyway. So I'm trying to crunch it down to give you the specific number to show you how bad the problem really is. So let's take all women out. Let's knock that down to 1 in 15 people, okay? Now you've got to think, what about non-gym goers? So we're left with men in the UK between the ages 16 and 60. Yeah, 16 and 60. And 1 in 15 of those is using steroids, according to the statistics I found the other day. I'll try and link that story. I'll try and link it in the bio. And there's a great documentary I'm going to link to on YouTube as well, where there's a ton of guys using steroids. There'll be bankers, there'll be warehouse workers, firefighters. Like, everybody is using them at the moment, right? And that's what I'm trying to highlight here. So you've got to think of people who don't go to the gym. Now, we're currently on 1 in 15. I'd say 1 in 5 people go to the gym. 1 in 5 able-bodied men go to the gym between those ages. I think that's fair based on any office or social group I've ever been in. So we can probably drop that number down to 1 in 3. So what does that leave us with? This is one hell of a statement. So 1 in 3 men who go to the gym in the UK are using steroids. I'll break that down a little bit more. 1 in 3 men who are able-bodied between the ages of 16 and 60 who go to the gym in the UK are on steroids. So pretty much any gym you go into, 1 in 3 men in that gym are using steroids or have done at some point. That's absolutely crazy. And the gym I go to is like, was 80 something pounds per month. It's the Gym Box gym in Stratford. Very nice gym. It was the old Olympic gym. I think KSI trains there, actually, the YouTuber. It's around about $120 per month, I guess. So you've got, the reason I'm saying this is that for that money, you have to assume that anybody who's going to that gym is serious about training. So I would say it's probably 1 in 2 in that gym. And looking at the size of some of the guys in there and some of the women, you've got to think that those statistics are true. So why am I telling you this? Am I being a hater? Am I saying get on steroids? Absolutely not. What I'm trying to tell you is that, you know, we live in an era now where looks mean a lot more than they used to. It's very easy to get insecure and look at other people and say they're better than me, they look better than me. But when you realize that 1 in 3 men in the UK are using steroids, you do think to yourself, why was I worried? You know, there's a lot of people out there and they're all cheating, trying to achieve this perfect body. And you just think to yourself, everything that I was worried about, there's a reason why he's bigger than I am. There's a reason he looks the way he looks. There's a reason why I've been training for 2-3 years, yet he's been training for 6 months and he's double my size. And I wanted to highlight this so that people could stop being insecure about the shape they're in, the size they are. You know, it's okay not to be as big as some of these people. There's nothing wrong with you. It's that 1 in 3 men in the UK are using steroids. And I guarantee it's the same in Canada, where I've lived in Toronto, so I've seen it for myself. I guarantee it's the same in America and a lot of places. I guarantee it's the same in Australia because it's hot and they have beaches. You know, people walk around with their tops off all the time. And I would guarantee it's even higher in other places in the world. I think we're going to have a big epidemic in the future. But I just wanted to bring this to your attention, guys, especially for you younger men out there. If there's anybody who's watching who's 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, and they're in the gym, they're looking at some of these giant guys and they're wondering, how can I put on more muscle? How can I grow? Like, remember this, guys. Like, it doesn't mean you can't look like them or you can't get bigger than them or whatnot, but just remember that 1 in 3 men in your gym are using steroids. And people like The Rock, the people you see on TV, they're using a cocktail of steroids that none of us could afford. I mean, The Rock's cocktail of steroids, they seem to be keeping him in good health. So I think he's paying something like $20,000, $30,000 a month for these steroids. You know, it's just not obtainable for the average person. And to think that 1 in 3 men in every gym in the UK are using steroids, it just blows my mind. So don't worry about confidence issues. Just stick to what you're doing. Stick to what you want to achieve. It might take a little bit longer, but you're not going to lose your health on the other side of it. So don't forget that, guys.